What's going on, guys? CThunder here. Today we will be briefly reading some CBR MHA articles. Let's see. This looks interesting. 10 backstories we're still waiting to see. We have Nezu. Yeah, we really should see Nezu because according to what they briefly mentioned in the anime and the manga, Nezu apparently had a disturbing past as like a test subject for a villain or something. Like apparently he was a very rare case of an animal being born with a quirk, so these villains apparently captured him and did all these painful experiments on him and stuff. And yeah, but that's all we really know. Hopefully MAJ will elaborate on that pretty soon. See, number 9 is Hatsume. Yeah, I agree. We really should hear her backstory. I mean, all she's really good for is making support items. Her quirk is absolutely nothing good for combat. Not to mention that she only used that out of 4 seasons and over 200 chapters of the manga, we've only seen her use it once. And in case you didn't know, her quirk is Zoom. It allows her to find out, like she can extend her vision range to up to 5 kilometers. So yeah. Yeah, Monoma, we should find out about him too. Like, apparently he's had like a very complex backstory. But yeah. I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna say the same thing with all these people on this list, but I think we should really Horikoshi really should start elaborating on their backstories. Yes! Nejire Hado. Out of all of the big 3 members, Nejire is the only member of the big 3 who doesn't have a backstory and has the least amount of character development. I mean, I'm not going to spoil anything, but in the manga, she does get a pretty big moment in the recent chapters of the manga, but I'm not going to spoil anything to those of you who are anime-only fans, but let's just say that in the manga, she gets a pretty cool and big moment. And I'm not going to spoil anything else. She doesn't die. But I'm not spoiling anything else. But yeah, now that all 3 big 3 members may have gotten a big moment at some point in the series, but now Nejire is still the only one without a legitimate backstory. I mean, we really need to find out because Mirio ended up being born with a quirk that ended up going against him at first, but now he's basically an unkillable machine. Well, at least before Eri went into the picture. And Amajiki was just socially awkward growing up until he met Mirio, so yeah. Where's her backstory at? Mr. Compress, yes. Now that I mention it, Mr. Compress and Dobby are actually the only character. Yeah, Mr. Compress and Dobby, I think, are the only members of the League of Villains and Shigaraki too, because Shigaraki and Dabi's backstory got revealed in the manga, but Mr. Compress's backstory was not revealed at all. I mean, his quirk Compress is pretty cool, very unique. No wonder people call him the Pokemon trainer. Gigantomachia. I'm not going to say too much here because he's only been shown briefly in the anime as of now. But he will be... I know for a fact that he will be playing a pretty big role in Season 5, so I'm not going to spoil anything, but yeah. Like, apparently he is one of the servants of All For One, but that's all we really know about his backstory. Gran Torino, yes. Gran Torino's involvement with All For One, like, we do know that he was a former teacher at UA, so just maybe at some point. And apparently he was friends with Nan Shimura, and apparently maybe, just maybe, that Gran Torino, had an involvement with One For All. Maybe, since All Might was one of Gran Torino's students, maybe Nana Shimura, who All Might was successing, maybe Nana Shimura maybe walked in one day and she was like, "Oh, hi, Toshinori." And Gran Torino was like, "Oh, wait, you know this kid?" And she's like, "Yeah, she's my successor." And maybe that moment is when she told maybe at that moment when class wasn't in session, when she told Gran Torino about One For All and stuff. Oh, speak of the devil. Yeah, Nana Shimura. We don't know her status on the top 10 hero spot, but apparently she was... Yeah, it's common knowledge now that she was in fact the user of One For All before All Might. And then of course All Might gave it to Deku, but we all know that story. Yeah. As it says here, Nana Shimura was the One For All user prior to All Might, so yeah. All For One, well, this doesn't count because they're only talking about the characters in the anime, not the manga. So All For One is a good portion of All For One's backstory was revealed in the manga, but I'm not going to spoil anything. And of course, Katsuki Bakugo, because of course it is. He's the most overrated character in the show. But still though, we do see a portion of his backstory when he first started bullying Deku, but other than that, I don't really see much. We do see that his relationship with his mother is as enraging as ever, but yeah. Other than that, it is obviously common knowledge that Bakugo has always been a jerk, but how did that come to be? Well, I don't know if this is a manga spoiler or not, but I think it was revealed in one of the books, but apparently when Bakugo's... At some point, when Bakugo's quirk first manifested, when his quirk first developed, then apparently he got a lot of praise from a lot of people. And apparently all that praise went to his head, and that's why he's a jerk. And the reason why his mother hits him and stuff is because, like, it's because that he would definitely, the reason why his mother hits him is because that she's trying to combat with his anger. Like, every time Bakugo snaps at Mitsuki, she just smacks him on top of the head. It's pretty much her way of dealing with his anger issues. Not the best way, but it's certainly her way, I guess. Alright, I'll be moving on to the next article. Okay, so now we'll be doing a My Hero X Avatar video. And speaking of Bakugo, we have My Hero Academia, 5 Avatar characters that Bakugo could defeat, and 5 that he'd lose to. See, 10, he could beat Zuko with Bakugo's mobility. Well, Zuko may be a pretty powerful firebender, but thing is, unlike Azula, Zuko has really never been seen using his firebending as jet propulsion. Obviously, which is something that Bakugo is really good at with his explosion quirk. So, obviously, Bakugo could just zip around the battlefield and just keep attacking him. You'd just be too fast for him. Yes, I saw this coming. He would most definitely lose to Toph. And would Bakugo be mad about his loss? Yes. Would he definitely lose? Yes. See, in case you didn't know, well, it's common knowledge, but for those of you who never watched Avatar, Toph is a blind earthbender who basically, instead of using earthbending as a weapon and a defense, she uses it as like a 5th sense because she can't see. She uses earthbending to replace her lack of eyesight. And she walks barefoot all the time because she uses her feet to actually sense vibrations in the ground, and that's her way of seeing. This ability is called seismic sense, but we'll elaborate more on that in a future video. But believe it or not, she's gotten so good at sensing vibrations that even from a distance, she can literally become a human lie detector. Obviously, because when someone lies, there's actually a brief reaction in someone's brain and heart, and that's what she can sense that and literally become a human lie detector. But yeah, obviously Bakugo is a very loud character, so she most likely won't even need her seismic sense. You know, Bakugo may actually be able to win if he could burn her feet, because one time Toph and Zuko briefly fought, and Zuko ended up burning Toph's feet, and it totally clouded her seismic sense. So if Bakugo can aim for her feet with his quirk, then he might be able to do it, but I doubt that it would work because she does have tons of experience. She would have to catch her by surprise, which is nearly impossible, so yeah. Yeah. Once again, Admiral Zhao has the same problem as Zuko. He can't fly, unlike Bakugo, and Bakugo's just stronger than him. Yeah, this is to be expected. But yeah. It's still unknown whether chi blocking would work on quirks, but it might work. If not, then it would certainly be able to stun Bakugo for a little while. And also, Ty Lee, being an incredible acrobat and pro gymnast, would clearly be able to easily dodge Bakugo's attacks by just dancing around the battlefield. Yeah. Yeah, he could definitely beat Jet with the power of explosions. Jet actually has a unique sword that's like a hook sword. It's a sword with like a curved hook at the end that allows him to be a double sword fighter as well as be able to grab stuff. But other than that, it's pretty cool because Bakugo could most likely easily defeat him. Because, I mean, like, Jet may be a very good fighter, but she's nowhere near as fast and acrobatic as Ty Lee, so Bakugo would utterly destroy him. Yeah, she would definitely lose to Hama with her bloodbending. In case you didn't know, this is the person who invented bloodbending. Bloodbending is a very powerful waterbending skill that waterbenders can only do under a full moon. And basically, since someone's blood is partly made of water, I think, she can basically manipulate people's blood. And she uses this on Katara, Sokka, and Aang, and nearly wipes the floor with them. She nearly has Sokka and Aang kill each other if Katara didn't use bloodbending herself to stop her. And we only see Katara use bloodbending only one other time, but other than that, we never really see bloodbending again until Legend of Korra. Which, by the way, after that whole incident in the Puppet Master episode, which is where Hama debuts in, after Katara made a bloodbender, after the 100-Year War, she made it her personal mission to outlaw bloodbending. So, yeah. Bakugo will most certainly lose to a bloodbender. Does that pretty much prove that Katara's future on this list? Yeah. Hakoda may be a strong fighter, but he's a non-bender. And as we could see, only benders can really stand a chance against Bakugo, with the exception of Ty Lee. So, I think Hakoda he'd easily defeat. Oh yes, he would definitely lose to Ko. In case you didn't know, Ko is an evil spirit known as the Face Stealer. And if you show any emotions at all when he's nearby, he will literally steal your face. So yeah. And since Bakugo is once again a very emotional character, since he's showing anger almost basically every single time in the series. So this would be like an automatic W for Ko. Yeah, definitely. He could definitely defeat Hippo's sloppy attacks and weak durability. Yes. And yes, of course, you would lose to Aang with the power of his elemental versatility and the Avatar state. Bakugo might actually put up a pretty good fight, but obviously as Aang is an adult in Legend of Korra, we can see that he definitely has a lot more experience. But if he's battling Aang from like at the end of book 3, then he might be able to put up a pretty good fight, but like Aang's bending is not only more versatile than Bakugo because he's the Avatar, and also since he also has the Avatar state, which as we saw in battles against Zuko and Azula and Ozai in book 3 and book 2, we can clearly see that Aang never hesitates to use the Avatar state if something gets rough. So yeah, let's move on to one more article. Alright, last article. 5 MHA villains Azula could defeat and 5 that she would lose to. Of course, Azula is a character from Avatar who is the younger and psychotic sister of Zuko. Let's see. Yeah, she definitely beat Magna with limited mobility. That makes sense. Yeah. Stain would definitely mess her up real bad because Stain not only has crazy, overwhelming skill with his knives and swords, but we can also see how hard can it be for him to dodge her firebending, because we could see that he could dodge Todoroki's fire easily. Yeah, he could beat Hekiji, sorry, can't pronounce that, with a lack of offense. That definitely makes sense because although he does have a very useful quirk, it doesn't have any offensive material in it. Someone with a quirk like that would be 9, which she would most certainly lose to because 9 in the My Hero movie and My Hero Academia Heroes Rising, he can't just create barriers. He can also shoot like these crazy lasers, he's got dragons. He has All for One too, and apparently he can hold a maximum of 9 quirks. So yeah. Yeah, she would most certainly lose to the high-end Nomu. Yeah. I mean, maybe in season 4 she might be able... Maybe with Shigaraki in season 4 she might be able to beat Shigaraki with long-ranged fire and lightning attacks. I mean, Azula is pretty agile, so if she were to battle him how good he was in season 4 of the anime, then all Azula would have to avoid doing is getting touched with all 5 of Shigaraki's fingers. Not to mention that also as soon as she would see Shigaraki getting close, she wouldn't hesitate to just incinerate him with her blue firebending. Yeah, she would lose to Overhaul with just one touch. But the thing is, guys, Ryan, why is it that she would lose to Shigaraki? That she would lose to Shigaraki but not Overhaul? Well, I'm glad you asked, because 1, in order for Overhaul to use his quirk, he has to touch something with just one finger and not all 5. And also, Overhaul can do something that Shigaraki can't do. He can touch the battlefield and alter the battlefield in Overhaul's finger in seconds. Not to mention that he can manipulate the ground with those spikes that we saw him use against basically everyone. Moonfish's teeth are not metal. They're extended teeth blades. Now that I mention it, that's gotta be pretty gross, but yeah. Now that I mention it, Azula might be able to beat Moonfish with maybe just zapping or heating up his teeth. Maybe that could do it. Yeah, she would most definitely lose the Muscular. Obviously, Muscular's quirk allows him to extend his muscle fibers to the point of them not being able to be contained by his skin so his muscles can show. And he's fast, he's strong, he's very strong, and he's very durable. So yeah, he would totally overpower Azula. Yeah, she might, Dobby's blue fire is just, if he were to even hit Azula with his cremation quirk, then she would most certainly die in one hit. But Azula is a lot more agile than Dobby, like I said with Shigaraki. And also her bending is a lot more versatile, for Dobby can just shoot blue fire, while Azula can shoot blue fire and lightning. So, and also Dobby has a weak body when it comes to using his quirk, so if she can just avoid all of his attacks and tire him out, she could just use a full power lightning blast and just take him out in one hit. Yeah, she'd lose to All For One. Alright, so that is the end of this list, and I will see you guys when I do. This is CThunder signing off. Bye-bye. Oh, a new Pokemon DLC series coming soon.